Good morning, everybody. It's Monday morning, and I am back to my normal routine of this last week was really fun, kind of doing my top seven, and it was really nice to kind of get back into those soaps since I've been doing so much other stuff. But today I'm going into another soap that isn't really available anymore. They stopped making it, but I was lucky enough to get two different pucks, so I'm going to try that out. And today's topic is going to be adoption. And it's near and dear to my heart. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I'm just going to read from Exodus 2, 5 through 10. Soon Pharaoh's daughter came down to bathe in the river, and her attendants walked along the riverbank. When the princess saw the basket among the reeds, she sent her maid to get it for her. When the princess opened it, she saw the baby. The little boy was crying, and she felt sorry for him. "This must be one of the Hebrew children," she said. Then the baby's sister approached the princess. "Should I go and find one of the Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you?" "Yes, do," the princess replied. So the girl went out and called the baby's mother. "Take this baby and nurse him for me. I will pay you for your help." So the woman took her baby home and nursed him. Later, when the baby was older, his mother brought him back to Pharaoh's daughter, who adopted him as her own son. The princess named him Moses, for she exclaimed, "I lifted him out of the water." All right, let me go ahead and start working on my lather. For now, I got to get a better container, but I'm just using my salsa bowl with the whole full puck to let it sit in there. But yeah, adoption is, obviously, I think dare I say, and it is, the most famous person adopted is Jesus. We all know Joseph's not the father in that sense. But he was his father. But for some reason, adoption still has a negative connotation in a lot of people's minds, even though our Savior was adopted. And as we saw, Moses is adopted. There's plenty of people through history who have been adopted that have done wonders. And I kind of wanted to do this just because it was on my heart, and it's a personal story of mine that it just means the world to me. That people understand what adoption really is. Well, this is already building up a lather in here pretty good, but being that this brush takes a little bit more soap, and I'm gonna make sure I lather good. But I guess today's more kind of an educational thing. Both of my sons were adopted, or are adopted, and I've been blessed to have them since birth, and I can't say enough. Okay, I'm going to call that good. If I have to, I'll go back to the puck. Wet my face real quick. But I can't say enough about the joy of having them in my life and how thankful I am for them. But you still get people who, clumsy today, who think of adoption as the birth mother and father are giving the baby away. And so today I kind of want to just kind of dispel some of the myths of adoption in modern times and kind of explain some concepts, because I didn't know them until I started going through the process. And to me, it's just really important to kind of educate people. But both of my kids have open adoptions. And what that means is, unlike what we are used to hearing about, which is you're adopted, you never see your birth family again, you never know anything about them, it's just you were adopted, end of story. With open adoptions, the children get exposure to their birth family in one way, shape, or form. It can be anything from a letter a year to, hey, you go to the same church, you can see them whenever, with the parents, of course. All the way, where like in my kids' cases, without getting too much into their stories, because that's their story, not mine to share with the world. But my oldest, he gets a visit once a quarter with his birth family, if they so choose. And then my youngest, on paper, it's once a month. Go ahead and fill my bowl. But just because of life schedule, it's harder to make that work. So it's just kind of it's free flowing. And at the beginning, it was nice to have the structure of once a month because it made it, until you established a routine. But all right, I'm going to do my quick pause. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I got my Merkur Future set at a 2 with the new repair blade. But yeah, just just a lot of people get that preconceived notion that adoption is not a bad thing, but that somebody else is being selfish. I've heard birth mothers say, yeah, people say, oh, you're so selfish to give away your baby. And that's not exactly what's happening these days, everybody. First of all, it's probably, dare I say, the most selfless act, because they know as a birth parent that somebody else is going to be raising their child as their own, and they lose that ability to be mother or father. And the birth parents are still involved in my kids' lives, but they don't make the decisions, things like that, so they lose a lot of that. But the way a lot of adoptions work now is with the openness, the birth parents actually get to pick, typically, who they want to place the child with. All right, so I'm be careful around my nose. It's only my second time using this razor. All right, pass 1 done. Yeah, so just when you hear that somebody has adopted or is going to place their child for adoption, don't judge them. Think about what they're going through, because they're making a huge decision. Support them. Because they I dial this soap in more, especially with this brush. But like I said, they're going through a huge situation there, and a lot of people forget that in some cases they're young kids, other cases they're older women. There's no typical adoption age. I believe when we adopted our oldest, they told us the average woman who placed a child for adoption was around 26. They said you'd probably think it was, high school age or whatnot, but no, it's 26, roughly. I don't know what the numbers are now. In my case, I've experienced both. My oldest, his birth mom was 30, if I remember correctly, and my youngest, his birth mother was in high school. I think she was 17. One thing I just recently learned from my youngest birth mom, through a blog that she does, is just the hurt that she feels afterwards still to this day. She's happy with her decision, obviously. She says that as much as she can. But she just hard for her because that's the child she gave birth to. And the last thing we need is more people to judge each other. Add new water in my bowl. It's getting a little cloudy. Soap's dry or wet enough, so I don't need any extra water. Or shouldn't. But yeah, just take it into consideration. Try to think about them as well. Obviously, in my case, if it weren't for birth moms doing this selfless act, I would have no children of my own. No children. And just those are the lone boys I have. Maybe I would have down the road, but I can't thank the two women enough for choosing us. Made the divorce that much harder because these people trusted you with their flesh and blood, and the marriage didn't work. And even though I don't have this soap dialed in, it performs really, really well. And I've gotten better lathers with it before. But it still offers a great protection. Let me go wet my face. I think I have a few touch-ups to do. Let's get out of the salsa bowl, get a little. One of these times I'll remember to do this with my non-dominant hand so I can just shave as I feel around. Just about there. I'm going to try to get that spot on my neck a little bit. I'm going to try for a little closer shave on the neck today. Nothing crazy, but... Yeah, just the fact that women nowadays get to choose, it makes it much more of a personal decision for them. So I think that's really important, that people realize that it's not, there's still the court cases where they foster care and then decide from there. But in adoption sense, it's just really different. That, and just to think about, I know when I first heard about open adoption, I had no clue what that was. It was like, my ex and I were like, yeah, sure, we'll do this open adoption thing. We'll let them send a letter every month or every couple months. Little did we know that we were going to buy into it as we should and really enjoy it and embrace it. Because in reality, what it's done by having those families, it's not just the birth parents. In both cases, the birth grandparents are still involved. There's siblings that are involved with the my youngest or my youngest son. His or her siblings and his siblings are still involved in the kids' lives. So it's like they've just got that much more of a bigger family, and all those people are like family to me as well. And so we embrace them, and what it does for these kids in a time and age where love is lacking in a lot of ways, what it does is it allows these children, and I'm not tooting horns or anything like that, I'm just stating fact, to be able to get more love. More people around them that embrace them, love them, and care for them. And what more can you ask for? Children should feel loved at all times, even if it's tough love. But so the more people you can have around them that are of loving, caring people, the better. So like I said, don't really know what the purpose of this message was, other than more just kind of an education, because I hear it all too often that people just misunderstand adoption. They still think it's the old ways, and they don't really understand it. And so in some ways, I've talked to a lot of people about adoption, and it's been helpful for me. My kids are aware that they're adopted, and that's awesome for them. It gets rid of the stigma. It gets rid of them wondering who their birth parents are when they do find out when they're 18 or 20 years old that they were adopted. They don't go, oh, well, maybe it was that guy down the street. Maybe it's this famous person. Just emotionally makes things a lot better through the long run, at least from what I found, what research has shown. But if you have any questions about adoption, please ask me. Each state's different, all that kind of stuff. But I'm always willing to talk about it. I love talking about it. It's been such a blessing in my life. So everybody, God bless, keep safe, and have a great week.